because I have to be very careful of what I say. Not because I'm afraid to say anything, but I some things hit home and very sensitive topics. You don't want to hurt people. Okay, my desire is never to hurt somebody. Um, Dave Chappelle, in one of his comedy specials, was talking about transgender people and how some are very offended by him. And he went on to tell several jokes, transgender jokes. He has a lot of transgender jokes. It's like his crack jokes and all of these other jokes. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are following this, that Netflix defended Dave Chappelle, and some people stood up, and different people in the LGBT community have some risen up against Dave. But in one of Dave's transgender jokes that he made about him being on set and talking his comedy, he spoke about an individual whose name is Daphne. Okay, so Daphne was a man, and if Daphne got her gender changed, and so she became a woman. As I said before, and I'll say it as much as I can, some people are born with the most messed up situation you could ever imagine. Daphne was one of those people, and she struggled with a lot of things, and comedy was her way, her belly laughs and stuff. Comedy was her way of processing things. I haven't spoken with some people in a while. There's a guy who's a lady who is, very gifted musician trapped in a guy's body. And I've had long discussions with this individual. So I understand very much what kind of life from that individual. It brings me to tears sometimes. I feel like crying because it's a lonely life. And I almost want to cry about it because I just found out the news that Daphne died. And Daphne used to laugh at Dave's jokes because she found humor. She was a comedian and she found humor in those things. And some people get by with humor. Some people, they can make it through life because they have the gift of making other people laugh, and they themselves can laugh at things. And they see things in a funny way. Sometimes that doesn't even save you from the other miserable difficulties you have in your life, processing a lot of stuff. And I know a lot of people have a lot of junk out here. A lot of people have a lot of problems out here. All right, so I don't want to, but it really hit home. A depression and just so many things people fight with. I myself fight with certain things that it really hurt me that this person is dead, And in the midst of all of this, her family and herself, she's very supportive of Dave. Her family also stood behind Dave at this point in time. A lot of times when you see somebody speaking out about something, they're not trying to be hurtful. Like Dave's not trying to be hurtful. I don't think people understand that about the transgender. I think he's trying to speak in a common ground where there could be some understanding, because particularly transgender people, which is a difficult, it's not the same thing. Transgender people are not the same as, say, for example, gay people or people who are, what's the word I'm looking for? People who are bisexuals. It's different. Transgender is different in the sense that we're talking about somebody who goes across genders, physically. It's a very, very, very liberating experience for someone to change their gender. But even so, they're still in a cage until people accept them to some degree. In themselves, they need to accept themselves. But it's hard when society watches at you still as if you're not just a normal, regular human being, or it's just. I guess there are some people, and they take a tremendous offense to me talking about, you know, LGBT community or gays or lesbian, and saying certain things as a Christian because I come from a certain perspective. But I do understand that it must be a difficult life, living a life which you're not being able to fully express yourself and be yourself. And you are seen as very negatively for being yourself. So that must be a hell of a life. And you're struggling with depression and all these other things. So I can't even imagine the difficulties that these different people would go through. So I just want to just put that out there because while I do know that there are a lot of people out here who have adopted the lifestyle, they weren't born that way or anything, they were indoctrinated into it. There are also a lot of people, unfortunately, I've met two individuals who were born that way. And these individuals live a very solitary life, and they're brilliant people, and it's very sad. And to hear that Daphne died, really, 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 it's very sad. It's something that, you know, you can see my eyes are getting red just thinking about it. I want to cry about it because it's so sad. And yet I know it's supposed to be funny, and I know you know her family was saying, you know, it was a joke, and they laughed through the funeral and everything, but it's still sad because she wins, but she doesn't really win. You know what I mean? Anyway, so you know it's challenging in this time to sift through the genuine people and the people just following fads. And people are very quick to talk about things they don't understand. I'm realizing that because everybody's got a voice now, so everybody's vocal about things. And it's okay. I understand that once people are not harming other people, not getting torches. And I understand also the move worldwide to sort of legitimize certain things. And I guess the problem that we have to cope with, or the challenge we have to cope is how do we deal with one another to the effect where we understand that if this is a possibility where somebody can change their gender and carry on their life like how they are supposed to be carrying on their life, that we can be cool with that to some degree. I think there's a lot to this, right? In the sense that, to put this really in a simplistic way, or as simply as I can, I believe that, thank God for technology, you know, people can live at least a much more normal life for themselves because of the technology and in various areas, and in this way as well. However, still, it will be up to the people around them to be supportive of them and to allow them the space to be themselves, right? Because it can be traumatic for the family, it can be traumatic for everyone involved. And we're dealing with real people and real situations right now, people. Now, I am not pro bisexualism or gay stuff. I'm not pro that. But I do agree that if you can sort of become what you should have been, but because of biology you weren't, I'm totally for that. I'm totally for that. So that you can feel more comfortable. I know the Wachowski sisters right now, They're very comfortable. They're very happy. All right? And that's all you really want for people. And if the technology can offer that, fine. I'm not talking about people who are trying to abuse the system or are using it for leverage in some other way. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are genuine. And believe you me, there are genuine people out here. I've met them. Okay? So, transgenderism is something that is a blessing to some people. And I personally, I have no, I have no hate towards people who go about and have the courage and the money and the funding to be able to do that. And I know of someone who they just don't have the funds to do it. But brilliant mind, brilliant person, good soul, good heart, just kind of messed up in that can't. It's very sad. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's not something that it's a God didn't put that upon me. I didn't have to have that burden in my life. But that's quite a burden to carry. Where you feel dirty, you feel evil, you feel bad because you are the way you are. That's sad, man. No one should be sad. No one should feel they're evil. No one should ever feel that they've done something wrong by being the way they are. It's just not right. So I just, quite frankly, that's how I feel about that issue. Now, with respect to Dave Chappelle, he's a comedian. Okay, he's gonna make jokes about things he doesn't understand. He may even make mockery of things he doesn't understand. And for a lot of people out here, particularly guys, I guess, it's hard for them to understand. For me, I say put yourself in that person's shoes if you can, and just try for a second or two to walk in it. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. And I have had extensive conversations with people, with particularly the musician person I spoke with. I'm going to call him her, even though he hasn't got the transfer. I spoke with her, and I realized that, yeah, it's a real thing. This is not no pretend or anything. And the person is miserable. They're miserable. Okay? And it is not good. And so I have to say, it is a real thing. Now, having said that, I back Dave Chappelle in his right to express himself how he sees fit. Whether it is that he does not understand it, and so he makes jokes about it, or he's speaking a bigger picture about the relationship between, transgenderism and black people, people of color, and how people of color are treating it, and how people are addressing the transgender issue, and how they're addressing the people of color issue with violence against black people. Either way, how Dave wants to choose to approach this, because obviously Dave is always going into deeper themes. Either way, how he does, and Dave makes fun of everything, right? He makes fun of everything. Andrew Patton, what's up? Just keep on telling truth. People always say, judge not in Matthew, and that's all they know. Read the whole chapter. It's about a hypocrite. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Deep, sir. I take that to heart. It's hard to look at somebody, because we tend to do this a lot. We paint these broad brushes on people. Now understand we have to deal with each individual and get to know them before we can even say anything on the issue, and that's the thing I'm beginning to realize. And interesting. And I'm not trying to legitimize anything. I am only speaking on a human level right now. I'm speaking as one human to another. And, there's a gentleman that comes on here as well. I'm not going to mention his name. That we have disputes, and we have debates. But one thing I do understand is he's a good person. He's a good person. What I mean by a good person, because you can put it in quotation marks, whatever you want to do. But I mean, he means well. He means well, and he tries to elevate people and elevate lives. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. And I'm just going to say this. There are a lot of good people in this world who have a lot of good to do. But because of the way how, and we do it both ways. We do it whether it's right now they're gunning for Dave Chappelle, right? A certain group of people are gunning for Dave Chappelle, which is wrong. It's wrong. Okay? So I'm straight out saying that right now. They're gunning for him and they're trying to gun for Netflix. And it's almost a vindictive sort of, hey, we're moving in this direction and you're upsetting the apple cart and we need to get rid of you. That's not the way to go. And that's the same thing as people with a blank paintbrush painting people who are gay or people who are bisexual or people who have sexual promiscuity or people who are prostitutes or people who are lesser people in society, painting them all with the same brush and just attacking them like, oh, you're not good, and so we just get rid of you or whatever, right? And you go full blooded on just because somebody's gay, or you go on somebody who's speaking out about themselves. We have to be able to listen to one another. And you can't just be going in on somebody because you think, oh, they're gay, or they're this, or they're that, or they're whatever. That's not the way to go. We're not gunning for anyone. We're not on a witch hunt to take down somebody. We don't need to be that way. You can tell truth to somebody, and the way how you tell truth to them is you're trying your best not to offend them, because they need to understand that you and they are in the same boat. We're in the same boat, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? I hate to acknowledge it because I don't like acknowledging imperfection, but we're all imperfect. And we all suck at stuff. And we all fight all kinds of problems we have in our lives, and we're all fighting to make it through those problems. And they're mostly mental problems, but nonetheless, we're fighting through different problems. All of us. The best of us that you see out there, that you, oh man, he must have a great life. No, I talk boxing. Tyson Fury, he suffers from depression. Okay? Tremendous depression. If he's not doing something constructive, he's going to get depressed. And he's going to suffer. This is the heavyweight champion of the world. And he suffers from that. And each and every one of us has problems. We have flaws. Am I happy that we have flaws? Absolutely. I would be happy if we didn't have flaws. Life would be so much better. But that's the reality we face. Now, just because we embrace ourselves doesn't mean we need to, how do I put it? Just because we embrace ourselves doesn't mean that we're cool and we live and dwell in our flaws. Absolutely not. Who wants to dwell in depression? Who wants to dwell in addiction? Who wants to dwell in anything that's out of control? Nobody wants to. Okay? Nobody. It's not, it may feel good for a while, but then you don't like it, right? You hate it. Now, all of us, all we want to do in life, all we want to do in life is make other people around us happy. We want to make ourselves happy, but that's not enough. Because if we're happy and everybody around us is sad, we're not really happy. We want to see, you know what it is? Everybody knows this. We want to be happy, and when we go outside and we share our happiness, everybody else around us is happy. That's what obviously, that's what we want to aspire towards. Is it realistic all the time? Absolutely not. But that's what we want. When we know people around us, they're okay. They're doing okay with their lives. They're doing well. When we know our family's okay, everybody's healthy and they're doing well, we're happy. Because that's one less person we have to worry about. That's one less person we have to pray about. That's one less person that's a burden on us. Right? It's for the older folks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When we know that the birds have come out the nest and they're making their own nest, we're happy. So we're happy when other people are happy. Okay? It's just the way it is. We've been wired that way. Humanity wired. If just imagine if you're stranded on an island all alone. You're going to befriend animals. You're going to befriend something because we're social beings. We exist among each other. And it's because we have other people like ourselves around us. We can't do without each other. It's just what it is. We're not fully happy. We're self-sufficient. Me being by myself is cool, right? It's cool. But the fact that I'm even interfacing with you guys, that's where my greatest joy comes from expressing myself. It's cool to sing alone. It's dope to sing in a choir or a group. It really is. Especially when everybody's harmonizing and everybody's in one accord. There's nothing quite like it. You could do the greatest solos in the world. You could go sing by yourself all the time. But when you sing in a group and when you sing with a bunch of people who are just belting, there's nothing like it. It's very euphoric. More is actually better sometimes. So my point anyway is that, we have certain people who are judging Dave and they want Dave to shut down. They want Netflix to fire Dave and all this stuff. And Netflix is not going to do it. And the reason is because if we take away our freedoms, when we take away freedom of speech, if we try to regulate everything that people say, and as they say, cancel culture, right? I know the right-wing people are the first people to raise this up, but if we continue to try and censor people, that's dangerous. It really is. And you can take your platform and form whatever rules you want, and then people abide by those rules, as with Twitter, Facebook, etc. But people need to be free to speak. And the way how it goes is there are ways and means to help people see themselves and what is constructive and what is not constructive for them to do. Okay? I think, what's the problem with today? People mean well. But I think a lot of people try to force other people to do things instead of letting people make the decision on their own to choose to do things. And we do it through shaming and labeling people. And we do it through, almost like hate crimes. We just go in on people and just start drilling them or bombarding institutions to try to get people out of there. Right? And I know there's a place and a time for that. If somebody's not performing in an institution or whatever, they should be fired. We understand that. But I'm talking about like where you just feel offended by something someone has said, and so therefore you're trying to get rid of them. That's not cool. It's not. As I said before, there's a difference between consolidating power and sharing power. I spoke about that this morning. And I really mean it. Power is to be shared. Power is not to be consolidated. The more you consolidate power, the more it's going to hurt you. It's better to disseminate and share it. A true leader understands this. He learns to empower the people below him by sharing the power he has, giving the people below him the autonomy that they need. Anyways, I've said enough. I'll catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am disciple. I thought I would speak on this topic. It's a very sensitive topic in many respects, and I wanted to approach it carefully because I do believe that while there's a lot of people out here who are fake, this issue that I just spoke about, transgenderism, is a real issue with real people who have real problems. They're not the majority of people out there, but when you meet them personally, you'll realize, this is a real thing. And it's good. I'm happy for people who are able to live what they really are. I really am. And I know a lot of people will not understand that because a lot of people have always known who they were. They know what their identity is. when you, oh my God, when what you know of yourself is seen as evil and terrible, and that is very destructive, because who you really are, you can never express. It is seen as a sin or something evil. That is just horrible. Okay, so I just wanted to go there so you guys would know how tough it is for people going through these situations who are genuine. And I know at least two people who are like that. So I'm going to catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am disciple. If you like this video, don't forget you can also subscribe to my channel. You can share, you can donate via Western Union or MoneyGram. I will try and get donations online as well, because this is an entertainment channel. I'm going to put up some more music and more videos very soon. I'm glad I have this phone. Once it lasts, and this phone will last, I will be putting up more stuff. And I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.